is too much work. Who in their right mind would leave this stuff at the last moment? Have I been in a coma? Alright, I gotta do something to wake me up. I can't do this. And that's so good.
While all of us are aware of the pervasiveness of drug addiction in our country today, we don't usually like to mention their prevalence in the places that should be the most safe and sacred: schools. Students are already coping with the emotional stress of becoming adults. On top of that, most students experience some level of academic and/or social stress, which is placed upon us by parents, teachers, and peers. Chronic stress is known to cause harmful physical, emotional, behavioral, and cognitive effects, one of which is substance abuse. All amphetamines are associated with cardiovascular health risks. In fact, they're actually banned from the Olympics in all forms due to the unfair advantage they give athletes and the health risks. In a survey of people aged 18 to 28, it was determined that most of these pills are actually coming from a friend or a family member, with only 15% coming from the black market. Now, there are three major signs of addiction in general. The first is tolerance, which is requiring higher doses for the same effect, which leads to more negative side effects. The second is dependency, which means that eventually the brain cannot function optimally without the substance. And the third is addiction itself, which is defined as continued use despite full knowledge of the risks associated and negative consequences which have already occurred. The 6 major signs of Adderall, Ritalin, or Vyvanse abuse are: 1. Taking the substance more often or in higher doses than prescribed. 2. Snorting or injecting the substance. 3. Taking the substance to stay awake. 4. Buying the substance illegally. 5. Using it recreationally. And 6. Taking someone else's medication without a prescription. If you or anyone you know is showing these signs, you should seek help now. Luckily, there are many free resources available for students. School nurses can provide information, advice, and direct towards the exact type of help needed, whether that be mental health therapy or rehabilitation centers. Many colleges now offer free and confidential counseling services as well. Now, there are side effects associated with all prescription amphetamine drugs, of course, but let's take Adderall for example. Some of the side effects associated with regular use of the drug include dry mouth, dry skin, nervousness, difficulty sleeping, restlessness, anxiety, headache, abnormally fast heartbeat, digestive issues like constipation, loss of appetite, lowered sex drive, and sometimes even sexual dysfunction. Side effects associated with abuse of Adderall include unhealthy weight loss, loss of strength, exhaustion, peeling or chapped skin, abnormal changes in voice, false sense of well-being, paranoia, mania, aggression, and even convulsions and seizures. Anyone experiencing symptoms from the second set I mentioned should seek help immediately. Stimulants in general produce dopamine in the brain, and overexposure to them will inevitably cause chemical damage, which is usually very difficult to reverse. This is why many cases of prescription amphetamine abuse do eventually require rehabilitation, and that's why preventative measures are so important.